Okay, my name is Jimmy Bias. This is the second video about whenever I was on parole in Corpus Christi, Texas, although I did go to other states. It's about the U.S. government and their law-breaking people. Um, we're going to try to start about where we did leave off. The day that they did send me out of court gave me 24 hours to leave. They also let out the escaped convic. Of course, this was more or less a threat to me that he was going to attack me again because they had attacked me just before that, before we had got arrested. And after they beat me up, the escaped convict did say it's because we was thinking that you was going to tell, meaning that I was going to tell on them for their plans that I didn't think that they exactly knew that I'd overheard, but they knew, I guess they knew that I'd overheard that they and these Mexican people was going to steal a bunch of guns and other items and sell them across the border. And the reason why I figured the U.S. government is also behind it is because I'm figuring that then those law-breaking people, after they did beat me up, that then they decided to go ahead and stage this so-called robbery in order to say, oh, well, if he's going to tell on us, then instead we'll get him called the lawbreaker and punish him. And the reason why this is because, one, the convicted felon who escaped from Colorado, who was using a different name, never did get in trouble for that. Two, the day after the court hearing, they also let him out, and he basically stalked me, following me any and everywhere I went, clear until I was completely out of the town of Corpus Christi and was getting a ride. He just kept following me, and I did ask him why, and he says, well, I'm just trying to make sure that you're going to be all right, or something like that. He was basically just telling lies. And the other guy, of course, although he pled guilty and supposedly was supposed to be getting out on parole, all at the same time they said that the convicted felon said he was going to stay there for another couple of days or so in jail, and then they was going to let him out. Now, why that would be, I don't have the slightest idea. The guy who is called Bones was also some kind of army vet from, armed force vet of some kind, from the way they was talking. That's just from conversations of whenever we was riding down there. I would say that after they made sure I was out of the picture, then the lawbreaking, the person who is from Colorado Penitentiary somewhere, was going to go back, meet up with the other guy, and all with the United States blessings, including the judges and lawyers that was overseeing the case, was going to go ahead and rob and rip people off, and then sell the drugs, sell the guns and ammunition, guns and stuff across the border to the Mexicans. Of course, then the U.S. government gets money from that. These law-breaking people that are doing that for the U.S. government then pay bribes and payoffs to the U.S. government. Maybe that's what it was all behind. Then they get the money from these fencing this illegal goods across the border, is what I would suspect. And then they spend it on drugs here in the USA, and the USA government gets that money. And so I think that may be what is behind all that. And so that's why I figured they framed me, because they figured I was going to be telling on them. And you can still look that up on my record. Although I have been continually applying for work and everything. I guess if they do a check on there, they could maybe use that as an excuse. But anytime I've applied for work, the majority of the time I've found out that all their workers are into drugs and drinking, and that's why they don't hire me, because I'm not into all the drugs and drinking. And their workers also steal from the places of businesses, and I'm not into all their thievery either. So that would be one reason why I haven't been able to get a job, because I'm not into the law-breaking U.S. government and their law-breaking people's drugs and drinking and all their thievery and everything. By the way, if anybody would like to, they could try to ever get a transcript of that court hearing. I've still never gotten that from them. And so if anybody ever can get a transcript of it, you can always send me an email to jewelgoodboy at netzero.net, and or leave me a message on here that you did get a copy of it. I would still be interested in a copy of that. I mean, it's been a long time, but so I would like to thank you all for that. There's also more videos that are going to be coming up. That was a lot of time in my life. Oh yes, more about the parole and the probation. Of course, the U.S. government and their law-breaking law departments did break more laws and rules. I was talking about how they gave me 10 years. Then I was only supposed to have to serve 5, and I would be off completely. Of course, at the end of 5, then Dennis Mallet and the law-breaking government said, oh no, the laws have changed, so now you will have to serve 7 years, although I had not been in trouble since that time. And of course, that's what you call law-breaking also, according to USA laws and rules, because that's punishment again for the same crime over again. And whenever laws and rules change after you've been sentenced, then that's illegal for the government to do that. There are laws that cover that. But then at the 7 years, he then said, no, you have to serve like 3/4 or something. And so basically, I think I ended up serving almost the complete 10 years before I finally got off. And of course, you also notice that at the time that I did get off parole, that then I no longer have ever had a job again since then, except for one short job, due to the USA government's harassing me and the law-breaking people harassing me for not doing their drugs and their drinking. And so although I have constantly looked for work, they just constantly on me about all that stuff and always stealing from me and attacking me and everything. Of course, the law department never have did anything about their law-breaking people either. None of their druggies, none of their dopies or anything. And of course, the word is still that the druggies even still talk about it too. They deny it. The government denies it. The police departments deny it, and they all get away with it. They have illegally thrown me in jail several times also since then, in and out of jail and in and out of the crazy institutions. And of course, the police department and them are all behind it, and they all just lie and call me guilty, and they still don't do anything about their lawbreakers. Even the police departments, I've even plain out heard them tell other law-breaking people, go ahead and lie about laws and rules and break laws and rules against him, and you'll get away with it because we're doing all this law-breaking against him. And sure enough, those people go about doing that. Even the hospital workers, whenever I was in Ventura, California, they threw me in a mental hospital. The police department lied, saying I broke out a McDonald's restaurant window and threw me in the mental hospital, saying I didn't have a driver's license or no ID. The police officer handed my wallet and some of my stuff that I had to the nurse that was going to admit me, and right there on top was my identification and my driver's license. And I told her, look, right there it is, and he's standing right here telling you I don't have any of that. And she looked at the police officer and said, are you sure you want to throw him in here, you know? And he said, yes, throw him in there, you know. And so she said, sorry, we got to do all this anyway, you know. And so she went along with the law breaking and illegally threw me in the mental hospital. They kept me for 3 days. But even while I was in there, the police showed up and was telling people in there to do this law breaking against me. I was having people steal my food, steal my clothes, you know, and just constantly harassing me. The nurses stole some of my items from me. And so, you know, this Ventura Hospital is even guilty of doing this law breaking against me. And so, okay, this recording here is about over. Thank you for listening. Maybe we'll get more into that later on. But